It's Friday, the 29th of March, 2024. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Adam Lang.
Good morning, Michael.
Adam, 5 stories to get through in 5 minutes, so let's get going. Story number 1, it might get a little bit trickier to get cash out at some stores this long weekend. Coles has limited cash withdrawals at its stores over the Easter break amid an ongoing upheaval with money provider Aylmer. We've all seen the Aylmer trucks out and about. It's a big business supplying almost 90% of the nation's cash, but it's warning that its business operations are no longer financially sustainable because of the substantial drop in cash.
Yes, Michael, and in the near term, this is a big practical concern for places like Coles, which the Australian reports is worried may see its cash physically stuck in Aylmer's vehicles if the business collapses into insolvency. Cash withdrawals at Coles have been reduced to a maximum of $200, down from $400 at the supermarkets. The Reserve Bank of Australia has been coordinating talks between banks, supermarkets and Aylmer. But late yesterday, Aylmer owner Linfox rejected a $26 million deal and refused to open its books for the due diligence process. Linfox has apparently tipped in more funding of about $10 million to get it beyond the Easter period.
It's a big story, that one. On to story number 2, Adam, and I'd love to hear what you think of this. A cool $384 million has been stripped off the Qantas brand value in an indication of the damage done to the airline over the past year. It had a series of incidents, including even the ACCC taking major legal action over flights being sold for planes that never took off.
Yes, Michael, and this was a pretty big whack. The analysis was undertaken by Brand Finance, which calculated the Qantas brand at $2.7 billion. That's down from $3.1 billion. Its ranking worldwide dropped from 16th to 21st for airline brand value. Top of the list was the USA's Delta Airlines. Another ranking of the strongest brands had Qantas in the top 10 last year, and it has now fallen out of this category. The brand value of Qantas peaked in 2019 ahead of COVID and now is at its worst levels in 9 years. Such a huge turnaround for the business, which told The Australian it is working on rebuilding its reputation by putting hundreds of millions of dollars into customer improvements and technology updates.
Story number 3, this is an interesting question. Would you want a home loan that tracks the movements in the RBA cash rate? It's one suggestion from a House of Representatives Economics Committee looking into better competition and prices.
That's right, Michael. The inquiry suggests the government should work closely with big banks to trial a new tracker mortgage product. This would see mortgage variable rates move directly in line with the central bank cash rate rather than at the lender's discretion. There are similar products like this in the USA already. The committee thinks it would stop mortgage holders who don't spend time shopping around and keeping an eye on their loan from ending up too far away from the best available rate, and it could stop customer angst against banks for not passing along rate cuts in full.
Story number 4, a big one overseas. Chinese President Xi Jinping has met with some of the top names in the US business community, urging them to invest in China.
Yes, Michael, this was a high-profile hour-and-a-half meeting in Beijing this week. Beijing broadcaster China Central Television named the attendees as Blackstone's Stephen Schwarzman, Qualcomm's Cristiano Amon, FedEx's Raj Subramaniam, and Bloomberg chairman Mark Carney. The business bosses were able to ask Xi questions, including about the challenges facing his economy, to provide confidence, encourage investment, and show that Beijing still welcomes interest from USA businesses.
And finally, story number 5, Israeli-American author, psychologist, and the grandfather of behavioural economics, Daniel Kahneman, has passed away at the age of 90.
Michael, I'm sure many of our listeners have heard of or read his best-selling 2011 book, Thinking Fast and Slow. It is a business classic. One of the big economic myths he debunked was about Homo economicus, or the economic man, the idea that people act rationally and out of self-interest. He found that actually people too often take mental shortcuts that lead them to choices that do not leave them better off. He found that people place too much faith in their institutions, are overconfident, and are good at pointing out other people's foibles but not their own mistakes.
Yeah, leaves quite a legacy. There we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Friday, the 29th of March, 2024. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed Business News wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.